Good morning from Kentucky. Finally it snowed. At least it's a little windy and cold, so I'm not liking it too much, but at least it looks pretty. Today we're gonna work on a Toyota Camry. I usually work on older cars and not a newer car, but we inherited this Toyota, and then it's a very boring car. It doesn't take too much gas. Drives pretty well, and yeah, it always does its job, so it's pretty boring for me. So let's see what's wrong with it. Here are my two dogs. They're helping. One is a Valpino Italiano and the other one is a baby border collie. So yeah, let's open it up. When I was driving back from work from Cincinnati, from the airport, it was made some oil smell, and then as you see, looks like the valve cover gasket is leaking on it. So I'm gonna head to O'Reilly's and see if they have one, and we're gonna change it. Park the Toyota in the garage, kick the Corvair van outside. Well, let's open up and start working on it. Got the seal already. Can't be that difficult. First thing we're gonna do is take these two nuts off, and these rubber bushings will allow us to take this plastic cover off the engine. I can see the individual coils here with the connectors. We just need to remove them, remove the 10mm bolts, and take this whole thing individually off of the cylinder head. You just gotta push the end up, pull it off. Looks like one was broken already. We gotta cut that off. Now that we get the bolts out, we can just remove these. They look like in a good shape. Remove this bolt here. That's a lot easier than dealing with this holder. Now we're gonna remove this one as well. Unfortunately, I broke this plastic piece off. Somehow I was able to get it out a little bit, and then it just snapped, but at least now it's giving me enough space to pull the valve cover off. Now we're gonna remove the hoses, one here, one there. I'm looking at this thing, so I think I'm just gonna remove that as well. Hopefully it will give me enough clearance to get the valve cover off. I think it's time to get the bolts and the nuts off of it all the way around, and then we can try to remove it. Now we got all the bolts and nuts off from all around, so we're gonna try to pry it to see if it comes off. So far so good. It actually moved. There it is. Looks like this is supposed to be really soft, but these are rock solid, so we're gonna have to replace those. Obviously some of it actually stayed there, so yeah, it's breaking off. Gotta be careful not to make anything fall in the engine. Looks like it was about time to change it. This one is kind of stiff as well, so most likely this is where it was leaking out, but it was about time to change this. So you guys see, these are the two camshafts, and this is the timing chain, and periodically this timing chain has to be changed as well. These gaskets were super brittle, so I want to make sure that I didn't leave any behind when I was doing it. And oh, there is one right there in the middle. If you see it at the bottom, little black piece, black square, I need to take that out. I cleaned it mostly on the cylinder head, and I cleaned this one as well. You can still see some debris there, which I'm gonna clean up. It's really important to put it back clean. Even though the outside is dirty, the inside has to be really clean. I'm gonna bring my compressed air and I'm gonna clean out these threads, make sure they don't have any oil in them, because if they do, when you screw the screw back in, they will basically expand and the oil will not compress, and it will crack it could crack the housing. I've blown out the threads on it, so now it's gonna be a lot better. Normally I like to clean this a little bit more. I would take this one and wash it out, but not today. All my water is closed off because it's really cold, middle of winter right now. So I just cleaned it up here, and I declared it clean enough to put the gaskets back on. I really like the way Toyota designed it, so you can't actually over tighten it, because this will touch the cylinder head, and in between they're gonna be the gasket, so it's gonna be properly push it together. That's a really nice design. Also over here, there's two parts where it will sit on and you can't over tighten it. Wonderful. This was fairly easy, and you can see the blue part here very nicely lining up, and then in the back I used the overgrown dentist mirror to check the back part, and then all the way through this looks really nice. I looked inside from here. The gasket is on where it's supposed to be. Now we can start putting the bolts back. So to put the bolts back, I'm just gonna hand tie them and put everything on, and then we're gonna do a little tie down sequence on it. I'm putting all the bolts in, but I'm not tightening up. Just make sure that the whole thing is able to move a little bit, so it will actually lines up this valve cover nicely. And then once we have every one of these bolts where it's supposed to be, then we're gonna start tightening them down. I got all the bolts and nuts in, so now I got my torque wrench, and we're gonna tie it down to 70 foot-pounds. So I usually start in the middle, and then with one hand is kind of hard. So I usually start in the middle, and I do this, and then I go here, and then here, and then there, and then the very last this, and then that should be tight. Now everything is tight, so next thing and then if you guys use a torque wrench, make sure that you release it after use to make sure it doesn't get bent. So now, next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these pipes back on. Both pipes, both hoses, what were there, I assume it's some sort of mission hoses, this one and the other one. Very much looks like I'm gonna need to change this hose. I think it comes up to there. I'm gonna find another one because it's really brittle too, and it was not really sealing anymore too well. So yeah, I'm gonna have to address that. The other one was still good. Now I'm gonna put the coils back in, and using the original bolts, we just basically pushing this down there. So if there would be a new spark plug, or I would have changed it, I would put a little silicone grease on it, but it had some silicone grease on it already, so I don't need to do that again. Now that we got the coils back in, I'm gonna be able to reinstall these coil wires, and this one most likely I'm gonna need another one of these tricks to hold it in position. Since I'm originally from Hungary, we can call this procedure that it's been hung-rigged. So we got 3 of these zip ties, and they're holding the connector on really tightly. So now I'm gonna cut off the excess, and then we can put these other 2 bolts back in with holding these wire holders, actually 3 of them, 1 on the outside and 2 on this side. Now the only thing what's left is to put this valve cover on, and then actually I'm not even gonna put this on. We're gonna start the engine and check if it leaks. All right, now I cleaned it and looks like it's half full, so I guess I can put a little more oil in it before we start the engine. I use this 530 Mobile 1. I'm gonna pull it out, had a few minutes to go down, and it looks like it's all full, so perfect. We're gonna try to turn it on and see if it leaks. It's still just as dirty as it was before, but at least now it's not gonna leak. So I guess I can drive it back, and I can drive it to work again. Thanks for watching, and then next week we're gonna try with something else. Bye.